Do 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 do. Crime time.
With my bestie.
I'm Jess Vandertuck, and this is Anna Riches. Oh wait! Oh.
My bestie.
I thought you were. Oh, okay. And we're crime time with my bestie. We're gonna have to get this right someday. This is episode 6 now.
This is episode 6. I even gave you a warning beforehand.
Yeah, but I forgot that the warning was the whole line. I just thought that the warning is don't forget to say that you're the person that needs to say whose episode it is and the introductions. But yeah, I'm Jess Vandertuck.
And I'm Anna Riches.
Here we go. And apart from whatever Riverside thinks our names are, because at one point I was Jess Under Attack, which was pretty good.
There was a really good one that I sent you a picture of. I can't remember it now, but it was literally like neither of our names were correct.
Anna Wretches, and this is Just Found Attack.
Oh, that was it. Just Found Attack. That was amazing.
Attack. But yeah, apologies that I messed up our intro again. There will be a day that we will improve, I'm sure. And for the first time in, 5 episodes of recordings, I don't have to come onto the podcast today and bitch about how hard it is to do a podcast, which just feels like it's progress.
Because you've completed your editing.
I have completed my editing.
Yay.
I finished... Don't go wrong, I finished it at midnight last night, but the transfer to the living room computer has proved to be a saviour, because I can now edit in about, not a fraction of the time, it still takes ages, but last night I went through the whole recording and with your edits and then added in my own edits in like maybe 3 hours, which is pretty good.
I can't say the same. I'm still working on a 14-year-old laptop.
We are back in the audio box zone, that setup that I have committed to for this evening, because the audio for episode 4 that I've just edited doesn't sound right, so apologies. I've done my best to add some EQ levels to fix it, and then the episode we recorded for our last episode, it's better, but it's still not great, and I can't add any more soft furnishings to my office because I don't want to add carpet, because I have a wheelie chair.
You might have to add in the sound boards that people put on.
Yeah, you can buy like full pop-up little audio boxes that maybe I'll need to invest in.
Maybe. Or we could just get better mics.
We could get better mics.
That's probably cheaper.
It did come up in a previous episode, but you have mentioned to me in previous conversations that apparently for a podcast to make it, or podcasts that are likely to be more successful, most will quit after 3 episodes. And if they're going to be successful, they make it to 21 episodes. Is that what it is?
Yeah, so most will quit after 3 episodes. So we've already surpassed that.
Oh, woo!
Oh, woo! And we've got 3 episodes out and everything.
I know, I'm so impressed with us.
I'm so impressed with us too. And I think it's only 1% will make it to 21 episodes. So that is my goal. I will drag you to 21 episodes at least, whether you like it or not. I think we're going to do well. I think we're going to go beyond that.
With the progress that we're making, don't get me wrong, we've both had our own hurdles to face with how long it takes us to edit and getting into the habit of editing. But I feel like we're making progress and we're getting really good at it. Don't get me wrong, I was writing my notes for this episode about 20 minutes ago because I was insistent that I didn't want to record this episode whilst I was still editing the last one, because that was overwhelming and I didn't want to do it. So I decided that I could finish recording at midnight. No, sorry, finish editing last night at midnight, and then I was going to do my episode notes and research in an hour and a half.
I mean, the researching in an hour and a half, I don't know how you've done that, because it takes me like 2 days to do it at least. But I suppose the pressure probably helps.
Pressure does help, as well as I am a sort of person, when I was at school, I was like if I revised weeks before an exam, I would end up just forgetting everything. I am very much a put it all in your brain right beforehand, and then once the event or whatever it is over, it's gone. So for me, this actually works with how my brain focuses, because if I had been doing these notes for 2 days, I probably would have forgotten half of it.
Same, but I still read it. So the first episode, I did it, I think, 2 or 3 days ahead of time. And then I read it 3 or 4 times before the recording. So it was fully in there. but I just didn't have the pressure of trying to find all of the information.
I've only read this through the once, so we're going to hope that it's good. But I will say, originally, actually, I only had 3 or 4 sources for this episode because the sources that I found were so strong that the research was there. It was just basically taking the pieces of information that I found most important and putting them into my own words. So when we do get to me talking about my sources, kudos to those people that put together those impressive pages for me to read. I did add a couple more at the end just because as I was reading my notes, I was like, this doesn't make sense. How do I explain this better?
The thing is, it's hard to read someone else's research and then go in and make it make sense because people have different aspects that they pick up on.
Yeah.
And different things that they go into.
Weirdly, with this case, there was also parts where there were differing accounts. So one source would say, oh, this
I've
was
had
the
that
day,
before.
or this is what happened. And then another source would say the complete opposite. So I've tried to be as accurate as possible and also give the differing points.
I've had that before. And
Yeah.
I think that's just something that we have to kind of go with because you don't know for sure, you weren't there. So whatever comes up the most is what I tended to go with. I think it happened a few times last episode as well, and I was just like, okay, this is it. I pick one.
It's also quite an old case, so I feel like there's only going to be so much information compared to something that's quite recent, which is more heavily focused within the news, and you've got a lot more people researching it and keeping tabs on it, whereas this was sort of the 1930s to the 1970s, so that was just a wild west of crime, really.
Yeah, because there was no CCTV, there was no DNA evidence. In the 70s, didn't they know to pick things up, but they didn't know what they could do with it?
Yeah, take things, not wearing gloves, not putting it in, like, sealed bags, I don't know.
But even when they did put it in sealed bags, they couldn't do anything with it because the like, technology wasn't there to test it for DNA.
That's true, but it is how they have found some... how they have unearthed some recent serial killers because they're like, oh, we can test this for DNA now. Why don't we test it? And then they end up finding somebody.
So even when they knew about it, they didn't know what to do with it. They were just like, I've got something. I'll just put it over here.
So we don't want to get too much into my case because that's for later, obviously. So how was your week?
My week's, it was mostly okay, but I'm now sick. So I hope it sounds okay and I hope I am entertaining enough in this episode. And if I'm not, I would like to apologise to everyone. But I have just taken a load of Sudafed. I've got like 3 different drinks on the go to make it through this episode. And I want a nap.
So you're either going to be seriously loopy or just doped and just not thinking or saying things. It's going to be great.
It's one of the two. One of the two. It's either going to be no comments because I'm just trying to keep up with what's happening, or all of the comments. Who knows? And if I sound weird, that's also why.
It's probably also not the best episode for it because we have done a switcheroo. So my last episode was quite entertaining. Then it took quite a dark turn.
Just a little horrible one.
Just a horrendously dark situation.
Just a little bit of torture.
Tiny bit. I've gone down. Oh, I'm going to need to add that to my trigger warning. Oh no. Sorry. Just continuously adding to the very large list of trigger warnings that I've got.
It's okay. I promised that next episode will be not involving torture.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm sure our listeners will as well.
I paused because I was trying to think if it does. I also might change it.
Well, I hope for listeners' sake, our sake, because I do love our random tangents that we go off of, that we do have some entertaining moments and points that you bring up, because this case is a little bit of a heavy one for me. I normally go a little bit lighter, apart from Joanna Dennehy. She wasn't great, but last one was a nice one.
I was going to say, you're saying you normally go a bit lighter. You've recorded 2 episodes and one of them was pretty horrendous. So at the moment, and this third one is horrendous. So actually, you're on the same lengths as me, almost.
Well, I promise I'll do a nicer one after this. I don't know whether I enjoyed this. I don't know whether I did.
How was your week, Jess?
It was okay. Was actually mine and Sam's, my husband's, 15-year anniversary. So not our 15 years of being married. We've been married for 5 years, but we've been together for 15. and we went to a pub arcade in Brighton called the World's End.
Nice.
It was really good, really fun. And then we had a 9-course Michelin guide meal.
Tiny food.
It was very tasty. I enjoyed it.
Was it filling?
We did have a very big burger about 4 hours before dinner. So I don't know whether I would have said it was filling if I hadn't have had the very large burger.
Yeah, because I saw the pictures and it looked very tasty, but it looked very tiny. And I know that there's 9 courses, but there's 9 courses of a mouthful.
There was 2 courses that I didn't take pictures of, and one of those was an entire, it was still small, but it was basically a wheel of bread. So, bread is filling.
Yeah, that's true.
It was very nice. It was a restaurant in Brighton called Dilsk. It was good times, lots of tasty food, and good fun playing games. So it was great.
Excellent weekend.
And then I played some roller derby on Sunday, just at training, but I really enjoyed myself, and someone on my team, our head coach, actually said that I have big jammer energy, and for the first time ever, I referred to myself as just a jammer, whereas normally I'm like, oh no, I know. I was so surprised. I was talking to one of our new intro skaters, and I went, oh, I'm a jammer, and I was like, oh my god, I've actually committed.
Explain to the audience what a jammer is versus a blocker.
Oh, no.
Just very simply.
Okay. In roller derby, you have people on track that are blocking jammers, and then you have the jammers. The jammers are the people that score the points, and they have to get past the blockers to score those points. A jammer is basically lots of energy, lots of moving. Blockers are very strong and stable. They can still be quick and nippy, but blockers are your wall, basically. Your wall to stop your jammer from getting through. And I've been playing now for about 5 years, and at the start of this year, I committed to only being a jammer because I was convinced I didn't know what I wanted to be. So I was like, do you know what? Just be a jammer for a bit and then go back to blocking later if you don't enjoy it. And I guess I've finally settled, and I have big jammer energy, which I really appreciate.
Taking on the jammer energy.
Yeah.
This is it. You are a jammer. Embody the jammer.
I am embodying them. I was told to chill out at one point because I was so loud, and I am a very loud person anyways, because I was just come on.
We both are. Let's be real, my mic is halfway across the room and I'm still almost maxing out the sound waves. We're just very loud people, which is why we made great announcers and why we're great podcasters. Yeah?
We are great podcasters, but I don't know whether a listener would account loudness for great podcasting, because it's probably not very pleasant. I mean, episode 3 is the episode that we've just released, and we had to add a disclaimer in the beginning of it to say that I was really loud because I was basically screaming about how warm it was, because it was very warm.
It was very warm that day. It was funny. I had to add the disclaimer though, just because it was the very first thing that you heard. I used it as a cold open almost because I thought it was so funny, but you hadn't had the do-do-do-do-do, so you didn't ease anyone in. It was just screaming from the get-go.
Yeah, never mind. I'm sure if people are still here and they're still listening at episode 6, disclaimer, it might cut off a little bit there in terms of what we're talking about. The internet died, so we're just going to pick up with what we're talking about in a minute, because Anna couldn't hear what I was saying and I can't remember what I was saying, so whatever the last point was, we're just going to move on.
We're just going with it. Just forget whatever we've said.
Because if there wasn't enough, we've got past the personal issues of dealing with a podcast. We said we weren't going to bitch about podcasting.
We're not bitching about podcasting. We're not. We love it.
We love it. We're discussing the technical issues that are involved in it. So me with my audio, blah, and now the internet, apparently.
It's still great. We're great podcasters. And 1,000%. I am going to stick with that. Because manifesting or something.
Manifest our brilliance. So, yes. On that note, would you like to start hearing about my murder?
I would like to hear about your murder.
Okay.
Well, not your personal murder, but the murder that you're going to talk about.
I could not be a murderer. I'd be absolutely useless at it. I have 0 skills in that department and I'm a terrible liar, and I would mess everything up. I'd mess everything up at every turn, and I would just panic. It would just be pure anxiety.
Yeah. I would at the very least call you oh my god, look what I've done. And then bring you into it, and then you'd start panicking, and we'd both just flop. We'd turn ourselves in before we've even done the murder.
Be in a corner, literally rocking. I don't know what to do. But yeah. Okay.
Okay, tell me about your case.
The sources for my case today are a YouTube episode by the channel Hayley Victoria Crime called, well, it's going to give away a little bit because it's the
Don't
name
tell
of the
me what it's
episode.
called.
Okay, so YouTube episode by the channel Hayley Victoria Crime, biography.com, criminalminds.fandom.com, Wikipedia, Murderpedia, and Medium.com. The trigger warnings are rape, violence, child abuse, strangulation, necrophilia, drugs, pedophilia, molestation, and torture.
Wow, that is a list.
That's a doozy.
That is a doozy. And what were your teasers from last episode?
I actually went and checked because I did forget. So they were Prolific, South America, and Flood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I completely forgot about them, if I'm honest.
Good thing I checked. Our case today is about...
Sorry, I'm trying to think of how Flood goes into
You
all
will
of
see.
those trigger warnings.
You will see. Thing is, I didn't want to give, because of the sort of case that it is, I didn't want to give any teasers that would be really obvious. If anyone knows the case, those teasers will be enough. So, yeah.
It's hard doing teasers sometimes.
I know.
And not giving it all away.
I know. Particularly if you are a heavy true crime listener, because something, like, again, once you get into the case, you will see why those teasers are quite obvious to someone that is familiar with the information. So today's case is going to be about Pedro Lopez. Do you know the name?
I do not know the name. I'm intrigued.
So, Pedro Alonso Lopez was born on October 8th, 1948 in Santa Isabel, Colombia. Lopez's mother, Benilda Lopez de Castaneda, was a laundry worker, but Lopez said that she was also a sex worker. His father, Medardo Reyes, who was married to another woman at the time, was having an affair with Castaneda. It's not stated as to whether this was a romantic affair or whether his father was soliciting the services of Benilda. Pedro was the seventh of 13 children, and he was... Lots of babies.
Lots of babies. That's so many. All by his mother?
All by his mother, but not by the same father.
Yeah.
He was said to have been a polite child wanting to be a teacher. His father, Medardo, tragically died. He was shot and killed 6 months before Lopez was born when a... Show up. I need also they do like what's it called? Mouth exercises.
Vocal
exercises.
The tip of the tongue of the the lips.
The tip of the tongue and tip of the lips. And then there's Gina Linetti in the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which you don't watch, which is disgusting.
No. I tried. I gave it 10 episodes.
I think it's like Timothy Chalamet, or something. I don't know. But anyways. His father, Medardo, tragically died. He was shot and killed 6 months before Lopez was born when a rebellious mob attacked the grocery store he was in. This attack occurred at the beginning of the civil war in Colombia, known as La Valencia, and he was said to have been a member of the right-wing party at the time, which could have been the cause behind the attacks.
I was just about to ask, was he part of this mob?
I'm pretty impressed with my research today, but also the sources were very, very good, so fair play to them. Lopez said he had a difficult childhood, having been without a father figure, and even though his mother was said to have been a kind and caring woman, Lopez stated that she was cruel and physically abusive. In 1950...
Sorry, kind and caring woman, cruel and abusive. She was kind and caring to everyone else, but not to him.
Yes, and she said that she was kind and caring.
Oh, sorry, I see. She's like, oh, I'm great, and he's like,
I was a great one.
I would have notes.
In the sense, though, that there was no other information that I could find related to his siblings as to whether they came out and backed up his claims that she was physically abusive. However, Lopez isn't nice, and you'll find out very soon why.
Well, yeah, it's a case about him, and he was not the victim, so I can't imagine he's nice.
No, true. As said, Lopez stated that she was cruel and physically abusive. In 1957, at 8 years old, he ended up on the streets. I actually think I said 1930s earlier, and it wasn't 1930s, I do apologise, 1940s to 1970s. But anyways, so, in 1957, at 8 years old, he ended up on the streets, with reports differing that he was either kicked out of his home by his mother after she had found him to be molesting his younger sister, or that he had just simply ran away. Your face.
Wildly different,
Wildly different stories, yeah.
I was about to argue that it's not very nice to kick out an 8-year-old, and then you went on to the reasons why, and I was like, Whoa.
There's some sources that say it was found to have been trying to molest his sister. There was one source that said molesting his sister, and there was another source that said he raped his sister.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. I take back my momentary... I mean, still don't kick out an 8-year-old, but...
I don't know what's going on in 1957, but it's a different time. Not that, I don't feel like... Nothing is good here. Yes, that noise, exactly. Lopez travelled to the city of Bogota, the capital city of Colombia, where he became one of the homeless children known as gamines. Gamines? Which is derived from the French word child or kid, so it's referring to or meaning the children of Colombia. He eventually joined a gang and started smoking bazuco, an impure form of cocaine.
Oh, okay.
It's going downhill real fast.
At what age was he smoking the cocaine?
This is still 8. Well, it's between the ages of 8 to 12. So this period of his life while he's living on the streets is between 8 and 12. So he's still a child.
Uh-huh. I wish this was a video podcast now.
Yeah, we've been requested it by one of our listeners because they were like, I really need to see your faces because the faces that we pull in some senses is more emotive than the words or the sounds that are coming out of our mouths.
Yes. It is something. At some point we will make it a video podcast. We need to learn how to speak properly first. But
and not have to edit it because I feel like that's the trouble. We are still editing. Yeah, we're still editing out a lot of ums and a lot of likes still.
So many likes.
I've also noticed that I say the word so a lot. I say so, yeah, or exactly. And it starts every sentence. So we'll have said something, we'll be chatting, and then I'll go, so, and then I'll carry on.
I do that too. What I've noticed that we do is going, do you know what I mean? After we've said a lot of half sentences. When I'm editing, I'm like, no, I don't know what I mean.
No. Sorry, I've also just, yeah.
Put down your phone, we are recording a podcast.
I was trying to remember the things that I said that I was going to remember, then I forgot to say what I was going to remember, but I'm going to save it to the end. So, where was I?
Smoking the cocaine at 12 years old.
Great. That's better
which
than
is
the word
why
so.
I was making a face because 12.
8 to 12.
8 to 12. Smoking cocaine. I don't know what cocaine was at that age.
I know it's going to sound really bad. I didn't know you could smoke cocaine.
I don't think it's common around here, is it?
I mean,
I don't know. Everyone that I know that has a cocaine problem snorts it.
Yeah, I thought that was the thing, but never mind. Anyways, let's carry on. He was found by a paedophile who lured him with the promise of a hot meal and a bed. Instead, the man took him... I know, it's not nice. It's not nice, but he just ends up being such a garbage person.
I know. The thing is, I know he's going to be a garbage person, but yet I feel bad at the same time.
He also attributes a lot of what happened to him as a child as his reasons for being a garbage person. And I'm like, I'm not saying that there aren't factors that can influence us in later life and how we act and we behave. But once we get there, you'll see how far beyond that works, in my brain at least.
Yeah, it's too much. And not everyone that suffered abuse turns into a serial killer.
Yeah. So, instead, the man took him to an abandoned house and repeatedly sexually assaulted him. After the incident, he joined a gang of street children for protection. The gang would often fight others with knives and belts for food and places to sleep in. He survived for 4 years on the streets until what seemed to be a positive turn of events for him when at age 12 he was taken in by an American family and enrolled in a school for orphans. Sadly, whilst at this school, he was allegedly molested by a male teacher, leading him to run away again and return to living on the streets.
God damn it. Like, that's so much.
It's on the level of...
Sorry, I was going to say also the American family taking him off of the streets. It sounds... Because he wasn't in... You didn't say he was in an orphanage or anything, or was he?
No.
So
no, just living on the streets.
It just sounds like they're like, we like this one. We'll take this one home with us. Like, that feels a bit sus. It sounds like it's nice, but how did we get to that?
There wasn't enough information for it, I'm sorry.
Tell me more. Sort it out.
I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
fine.
I'll just drink some more Barocca and get a bit more loopy.
I appreciate all your interruptions, I really do. All this turmoil and tragedy throughout his childhood would lead him later in life to speak of wanting vengeance for his suffering as a child.
Vengeance! Sorry. The Barocca's kicking in.
At 18, Lopez began to steal cars and sell them to local chop shops in exchange for sums of money. However, in 1969, when Lopez was 21, he was arrested for the auto thefts and sentenced to 7 years in prison in Bogota. He was in prison for 2 days before he was violently gang raped by 3 other inmates, traumatizing him.
Oh, God. I was going to say... Yeah, that's rough. I was going to say this is probably the first time in his life that he's had some stability and he's had like a routine, a nice time. And I was about to interrupt to say all of that. And then you said 2 days in and I was like, oh no. Oh, this is bad.
Did you say stability and routine because he's now in prison?
Yeah. Well, because it is probably the first time in his life that he's had it. He's lived on the streets for however many years, more years on the streets than he's lived with people.
Yeah.
This is probably the first time of having routine, having stability, because he's in one place every single day. And then you continued the sentence. And the sentence was bad.
I was going to say as well, this is on the level of first episode, Leonardo Cianciulli, where it was like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing.
Yeah.
And you just wonder how someone manages to go through this many bad things in their life.
Exactly. That curse is strong.
After his traumatizing attack by the 3 inmates, he proceeded to create a makeshift knife and murder his 3 attackers. While still incarcerated, these murders resulted in his sentence being extended by 2 years.
Oh, but only 2 years?
It's wild.
So, sorry, he was in prison for 7 years for stealing cars.
Yes.
But killing 3 people only adds on 2 years.
Honest to God, I want to discuss how wild this is, but hold that energy for later on because it is wild to get 7 years. Drink more Barocca. Because it takes 7 years for stealing cars, plus 2 years for killing 3 people, regardless of them being in prison. It's still murder. I know that his reasons for murdering
it's completely
them.
Murder. That's why I'm so confused. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, it's not a good thing, but I can see why. But then only adding 2 years to this sentence when the other sentence was 7 years for stealing cars, which in theory, I don't know how he stole the cars, but in theory is not hurting anyone.
No, I'd imagine not. Maybe in some twisted way they're like, oh, now there's 3 less people in jail that we have to deal with? I don't know.
So we should not punish him as harshly? What?
Honestly, it is quite wild, and it only gets crazier.
It's only gonna get worse.
It's our new motto. So far, Lopez has had a pretty horrible life, but it is upon his release from prison where things start to take an incredibly dark turn.
Sure.
Having served his full sentence, he was released in 1978. He ended up back on the streets, becoming a drifter, wandering throughout the northwest area of South America.
Sorry, how old is he at this point?
1978. He was born. He's 30. No, yeah,
okay.
He's 30.
Okay.
Yep. He eventually made his way to Peru and began to prey on young girls, usually of indigenous background and limited economic means. He would lure them to remote areas where he would assault, rape, and murder them, stating that he was murdering an average of 3 young girls per week.
Sorry, I don't know if the mic even picked up on that. That was a squeak of disbelief.
A gasp of
disbelief that 3 a week, that's
and he's so nonchalant about it. So it's like, yeah, it's 3 a week.
On average. You know, some weeks better, some weeks are worse. But, you know, around 3 a week. What? That's 150 in a year. Well, plus.
It says average of 3 a week because he claimed that during the period between the mid to late 70s, he killed a total of 100 girls.
So he had a few weeks off then?
Maybe he was a bit chill about it.
He went on holiday. He had a
little break from all the murdering.
He was like, do you know what? This is tough work. I'm going to take a little break.
So I will note that these claims are not verified, but information later could well be enough to convince you that this is true. So these specific 100 girls that he's saying that were killed between the mid to late 70s they are not the girls that are in theory found that are the ones that are the case that adds towards his conviction, if that makes sense.
So he killed 100 girls now. Spoiler. He killed 100 girls now, and he's going to go on to kill another bunch of people, and that's what the case is about. But we can't verify these 100 girls that he's talking about now.
The 100 girls that this is purely from his confession.
God damn it. I take back everything, all sympathy that I had ever.
On one such occasion, Lopez attempted to abduct a 9-year-old child from an Indian tribe, the Ayacuchan indigenous tribe, but was caught. The Ayacuchan subjected him to tribal law, stripping him of his clothes and belongings, beating, torturing, and buried him in the sand up to his neck. They were preparing to execute him when an American missionary intervened and persuaded them to hand him over to the state police.
Oh, fuck off.
Don't be helpful when they're like, I would imagine as well that they told this missionary why this guy was being buried alive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's good to bury someone alive, but if we're believing that he's killed 100 girls at this point, plus everything he did in his past before that, let him be. Let them be. Like, I think it's fine.
And the theory as well, if he's done this within the tribal land and they're subjecting him to tribal law, I don't know how that weighs up, because it would surely be, it's in Colombia, so how that works in the sense of what takes precedent.
Yeah, where the tribal law is taking precedence over state law, I guess.
So they are enacting their own justice system, and this missionary is like, no, you shouldn't hurt him, you should give him over to the police so he can serve under their justice
And also,
system.
What's it to do with this American?
I don't know. Once again, it doesn't get any better.
It's only gonna get worse.
The tribe reluctantly agreed. Now, there is 2 versions of this story. So either Lopez was released into the hands of the missionary drove Lopez to the Colombian border and set him free. So that is one version of the story. The other version is that Lopez was taken to the police, who let him go by deporting him into Colombia without truly considering his crime. So either way, Lopez was set free, whether that is by the Colombian police themselves or by the missionary directly.
Okay, so he's a terrible person because he committed all of these crimes, but the untold villain here is either the police or this American missionary.
They've literally let this person go off into the distance to commit more heinous acts.
Exactly.
Because that is what's going to happen.
Even that far into this, I can't imagine that you're more than 2 pages into your notes.
I think I'm about halfway, so we're not done.
No.
So neither person or group of people detained or attempted to determine any form of justice for his attempted abduction of the 9-year-old tribe girl, or what could have been possibly hundreds of previous abductions and assaults. As you said, he's done a bunch of stuff, and so far nothing has been done about it.
No. And even when he was punished for his crimes, the 3 murders in prison, it was just, 2 years.
Exactly. From Colombia, he eventually found his way to Ecuador, having said to have continued with his murder spree during this time. In the late 70s, scores of girls were said to have gone missing, particularly in the locations where he had said to have been travelling. But the authorities had previously believed the disappearance of so many girls was due to sexual slavery, prostitution, or human trafficking.
I mean, it might have been that as well, but it's too much of a coincidence that he was there. Yeah. And then they went missing.
There may have been a percentage of it that was the case, but in the sense of if an individual comes into a location, scores of girls start disappearing. It's not a...
Maybe investigate. Investigate a little bit. Someone with a record of doing this. I don't know if he had the confession yet, but if he's going about telling people, just killing some people and... don't look at me too hard.
From what I can understand, he's not telling people, but in the sense of there does seem to be a correlation between him appearing in places and this stuff happening.
But someone knows, because the missionary knew, the tribe knew, like, it must be recorded somewhere.
True, they would have taken him to the Colombian police if that was the version of the story that was correct, and should have said, like, he was attempted to abduct a young girl. So... Lopez later said of his time in Ecuador, "I like the girls in Ecuador. They are more gentle and trusting, more innocent," which is just gross.
Ugh.
Families tried to find the girls on their own. Police weren't investigating at this point because they had just, palmed it off
because they're trash.
For other reasons.
In this case, they're trash.
With one mother putting ads in newspapers about her missing daughter. In 1980, flash flooding unearthed the bodies of 4 missing girls. There's the flood.
I see what you did. The flood.
Yeah, there's the flood.
But only 4 girls.
Yes. However, the flooding, in the sense of it unearths more graves, but the bodies get washed away. So they do believe that it unearthed a lot more evidence. So it unearthed the bodies of 4 missing girls, leading to police to reopen their investigation. Now realizing,
thank God.
Thank God. Now realizing their earlier theories of the missing girls was in fact false, and suspicion then began to fall on Lopez. So finally, they're kind of putting 2 and 2 together.
Well, yeah, finally when, like, someone's shoving it in their face, being like, look, there are bodies here. They're like, oh, maybe they didn't just go off and...
Disappear into the sunset.
Yeah, disappear into... I wanted to say they didn't just run away, but that's not obviously what they thought, but they didn't investigate in any way, shape or form.
No.
If they have been sex trafficked, maybe investigate that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They were saying, they think it's sexual slavery or prostitution or trafficking, but they weren't like, let's try and figure out where they are. It's like, they're probably gone now, sorry. Just... Ugh.
Yeah, like, maybe follow up. Maybe a couple more follow-up questions.
Not long after the flooding, a local woman named Carvina Poveda was on her way to the market with her 12-year-old daughter, Marie, when Lopez attempted to abduct her. Local merchants were able to overpower Lopez and hold him until the police arrived, nearly lynching him at the time. It said police rescued, and I want to do the little like inverted commas because they rescued him from being lynched from them and took him into custody. I mean, you wonder how much the locals knew. If, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there would have been a level of upheaval if they had found someone to be actively trying to abduct a child.
Yeah, I feel like people in the areas knew about him. I could be completely wrong, but from the vibe is that everyone but the police knew about him, and the police only didn't know about him because they're looking in the other direction being like, I don't know who this could be. Lopez who? No, never heard of him.
It really does seem like that. Once Lopez was in police custody, he initially refused to cooperate with authorities, proclaiming that he was a good person and that he had a clean heart, which is absolute lie. Absolute garbage fire. You are none of the above and the complete opposite of everything you just said.
I was drinking my Barocca at that point in time, so I couldn't exclaim.
Fueling the rage.
What a douche canoe.
Investigators were said to have beaten him once finding out he was not a local, but in fact a Colombia drifter. Lopez stayed silent even when accusing...
Sorry. If he had been a local, they would have been A-okay with it, fine.
Yeah, it said that they basically, if he had been from Ecuador, that they would have... I think because... they didn't believe that someone from Ecuador would want to abduct children from Ecuador. So the idea that he was, in fact, from Colombia made them go, you're obviously abducting children from Bogota.
I mean, he was.
He was.
And he deserved being beaten up, but that's not the reason. Maybe investigate everyone and, like...
do better policing?
Everyone could be a twat. Do better policing, like investigate, just ask 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah, just no questions and then fully to beating. I don't know. 0 to 100 real fast.
0 to 100.
Lopez stayed silent even when accused of abducting girls in the Ambato region. At this point, and again reports differ, it states that the investigator, Pastor Cordova Gordino, had entered the interrogation room at this stage, telling all the other officers to leave. Or so there's one side of it where it says that he came in, entered the interrogation room, told the other investigators to leave. Or the other side is that he actually went undercover and was put in the same cell as him and befriended him and was able to convince Lopez to confess.
Oh, sorry. That's how... So they put him in prison. Sorry, I blanked for a second. Sorry. He is going to prison after this.
So this is while he's still in jail, while he's being held as he's being interrogated.
After the beating.
At the same time.
At the same time as the beating.
The stories are either he's in the interrogation room and they're beating him up, trying to get an answer out of him. They're not getting anywhere, so then Pastor Cordovo enters the room and is like, leave, I'm gonna play nice person and get a confession out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Or eventually they give up with the interrogation, they put him in a jail cell, within the jail, not within prison.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst he's in the jail cell, the pastor is put into the cell and lies about also being a criminal and convinces him to sort of admit to stuff.
And do we know how long he was in the jail? I assume not.
It doesn't say.
Because I was like, that feels kind of quite speedy if either way seems unrealistic, but maybe he just wanted to admit to everything.
It doesn't say how long it took the pastor to get the confession out of him. And like I said, the information was differing in places. Some, as I said, was him knowingly being an investigator and playing good cop.
Mm.
And then there's the other side of it where it's him being in the jail cell, pretending to also have committed his own crimes and sort of getting him on his side.
Mm.
I don't know the timescale of how long that went on for, and then obviously for Lopez to admit to a confession.
Yeah.
Lopez told him that he could find one victim in a cabin outside the town. The police went to the cabin and found a new dead body lying on an old mattress, who was identified as Ivanova Yacom, a missing girl. After Cordova asked Lopez how many girls he had killed, Lopez said over 200 in Ecuador, some tens in Peru, and many more in Colombia.
So the Colombian murders that he did were the 100 girls that he did before, and then he got caught by the tribe, right? And then he went into Ecuador and he's committed these 250.
So he's saying over 200 in Ecuador, which is after the 100 that he already claimed to do in Colombia. And then he's saying tens in Peru as well. And so he's now racking up over 300, basically.
Well over 300, if not like 400. That's insane.
It is insane. It's crazy. That's in that sense. That's where my other so we've got the teasers were flood, which is obviously the flash flooding that unearthed the 4 missing girls. The South America for the location, and prolific, because he is considered to be one of the most prolific serial killers in history because of the number of people he has said he has confessed to killing.
Yeah, I don't think I know any other serial killers that are well into 300 or 400.
No, and I think as a horrible tidbit, I think he's actually been given a Guinness Book of World Records achievement for how many people he's said to have killed.
No, that's in poor taste. I don't like that. No, bad Guinness World Records. Bad.
I saw a Reddit thread where someone said, doesn't the person, or was it like the adjudicator of Guinness World Records, have to be there when the things happen?
Oh!
You know, when you're like, I don't think I'd want to.
No.
Let me just fact check that for me.
Yeah. Thanks. Oh God.
I would say as well, don't get me wrong, as we get into more evidence, you will find that there is evidence to back up some of these claims, but not all. So they don't have evidence of all 300. Some of it is mostly his claims, but in the sense of there is evidence support tens of murders. So in the sense of if you can believe him for the tens of murders, can you believe him like in the hundreds of murders? So, and they did say scores of girls. It doesn't give an exact number of girls that were reported missing at the time.
How many is a score? What counts as a score of girls?
Yeah, and in the sense of that's obviously just while he is in Ecuador. So he said they. Oh, what?
I'm laughing because you've said in the sense of 3 times in about just as many words. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you feel
No, it's fine. That'll be another one to add to the list.
It just was making me laugh.
That's another one to add to the list of the things
I'm so sorry.
You're fine. It's all good.
Normally it's fine. You just said it in
like quick succession.
Yeah, it was literally like in the sense of, and then like 3 words, in the sense of like 3 words, in the sense of like 3 words. And I was like, oh no, the editing.
The thing is, I'm probably going to have to keep all those in now for this conversation to make sense, or I'm going to have to cut the whole thing. So I'll probably keep it in so that everyone can laugh at me not knowing how to speak.
So for our listeners, I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of Jess, but I'm making fun of her a little bit.
I don't even remember why I was saying in the sense of in the first place. Like what it was the thread.
So you were saying it in relation to whether you can believe he's done the tens of murders because there's evidence of that, to whether you would believe he did 300 murders. I've just done it with would you believe?
Would you believe? Do you know what I mean?
Do you get what I mean? No, none of us do.
I think the thing with it is as well, trying to find new ways to say it in the sense of that they do find tens of bodies in Ecuador. So the likelihood of there being tens of bodies in Colombia, because I don't think he was investigated. There's some stuff later on, but I don't think he was ever investigated for the hundreds of murders that he said that he committed in Colombia. they very well could be that many, but they just never looked into it. So,
Yeah.
and because he also was saying that they were indigenous, people of low economic backgrounds, are these people being looked for, if that makes sense?
Exactly. And it didn't sound like the police in those countries really cared.
No. And you've also got freaking missionaries interfering with tribal stuff. So if there was anything that was within tribal law that apparently is overruled by some random American missionary, if they are an indigenous tribe, would they have brought that information to the police?
Exactly. Would they have brought it to the police? And also, would there have been evidence after this long? Because I don't know how long this has been happening.
I think we're
looking
looking
of years, few years?
About 10, 15 years. So it's quite a long period.
10, 15 years. So if he started in Colombia, would there be evidence left after 10, 15 years? Would the tribes have brought any evidence to the police, especially knowing that the police aren't investigating this killer? And yeah, I had another point to that, but the Barocca wore off.
Quick, sip some more.
We should.
As said, Lopez obviously admitted and said that there had been over 200 in Ecuador, some 10 in Peru, and many more in Colombia. The president of Ecuador was informed, and he ordered that Lopez should be taken to the places where he'd left the bodies until all the victims in Ecuador were recovered. So the president is demanding more than the police have in this investigation. You go.
Well done to the president. You go, President of Colombia.
President.
You go, President.
I probably should have found their name, but the source just said the president of Ecuador. So,
did he do that? Did he actually go and take them to all of the places? Oh, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Am I asking too soon?
Oh, you're asking too soon. Stop interrupting. Oh, I love your interruptions.
I don't think I'm physically able to not interrupt.
Lopez led police to more than 30 shallow graves, but after learning that he was going to be charged for murder, what did he
think he was doing?
What was going to happen? Like, oh, I thought I just lead you to all the bodies and then you were just going to let me go.
Here is my murder patch. Here's my other murder patch. Oh, you think I did it? Why? Because I told you I did it.
He was fully cooperating until we realised that he was going to get caught or charged for all of his crimes. Like, lunacy.
Telling the police as well is like a new level of like delusion. Like, oh, I just thought we were mates. I didn't realise that as the police, you were going to charge me for this.
I mean, Cordovo had been befriending him, so maybe he could have spun up some story, but yeah, he stopped cooperating and declared his innocence.
Yeah, but sorry, I'm imagining there's a police van behind them. There's like the Ninos like happening, and he's like, what? The police are arresting me on this?
As well as 30
shallow... kicks back in, fucking hell.
As well as 30 shallow graves. At what point was he like, grave 1, everything's fine. Grave 2, everything's fine. What grave number did he get to before he was like, oh, I should stop telling you because you're obviously going to get me for all this badness?
What is going through his head?
Very little logic at this point, honestly.
Evidently.
So yeah, he stopped cooperating and declared his innocence. After showing
Sorry, he declared his innocence. Oh, God. Yes, all of, like, murder 1, murder 2, grave 3, grave 4. No, this wasn't me. No, I'm innocent. I just knew about them. They're just, just there. I just thought I'd show you. It's just a show and tell.
Yeah. 6 cents for where all the bodies were. Additionally, a total of 53 bodies were recovered in Ambato alone. Some of the locations he had sent them to were empty graves, having been emptied by the flash floods or scavenging animals before the investigators could find them. But in the sense of you would have... Oh, I just said it again! Look what you've done! But he's led them to these shallow graves, so even though there wasn't a body inside, I feel like you would be able to tell that it was a grave.
Yeah, there might still be evidence in the grave. I don't know how flash floods work in terms of what evidence is left behind, and I guess it depends on how long the body was there, etc. Not a forensics person, but maybe there's evidence still there.
Lopez's minimum body count is estimated to be at 110, but some believe the total number is in the vicinity of 300 or more, even though investigators believe the total could be even higher than this.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like it is probably higher. I feel like it's probably nearer like 400 from what he's been saying.
If we believe him to be fully true, it's got to be near the 400, surely.
Surely. Because if he said 100 or 3 a week would leave it to be closer to 150, then a few tens, so say another 50, and then another 200 in Ecuador, you're at 400 odd.
Yeah. I've included this just because this is probably the more graphic information about him and his MO. So just a bit of a heads up, this is about what he would do in terms of the murder of his victims and how he would treat them as part of it.
Oh yeah, because we haven't got anything on the actual murder yet.
He described his MO as first luring the victim away from a public space with a trinket before raping and strangling them with his bare hands. He would stalk girls for an unknown amount of time before abducting them. He would bury them in shallow graves and claim that he would occasionally exhume the victims' bodies from their burial site and have tea parties with them.
Oh, not what I was expecting, but I feel like that's almost more horrific, like pretending that they're still alive.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily say so. I included a little conversation we had before the episode started was I've included the trigger warning necrophilia. Googling that term normally refers to it as some form of sexual gratification. It doesn't explicitly state his basis for doing this, but that he's got to be getting something out of it, whether that is just enjoyment or a sexual gratification or something, to take up the body of a young girl that you have raped and strangled and assaulted and have a tea party with them. It's vile on so many levels of vile.
It just feels, I'm trying to think of the right word. It just feels quite odd. It's like an odd thought process to do that, to bury them and then exhume their bodies and essentially play with them, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he dressed them up, but in my head, a tea party is like you've placed them in a certain way and you're pretending that they're still alive. Yeah, you're manipulating. That's the right word.
It's also very childlike. You know, I'm exhuming them and doing adult things. You're enacting something that's quite a childlike play. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
It's very odd, and it's not what I was expecting. I know, obviously, like you said, we had the conversation before the episode about whether necrophilia included non-sexual acts, but this is still not what I was expecting from this.
No, but I did, in the sense of what the definition I found, it said that it just some form of gratification from it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual gratification, but you get some enjoyment or gratification, which I would imagine he would. Otherwise, why would you do it?
Yeah, it's a lot of effort.
Yes.
Like, why would you do it otherwise?
So when asked about his motives for the murders, Lopez reportedly said, "I lost my innocence at the age of 8, so I decided to do the same to as many girls as I could. He would only attack victims in the day as he wanted to see their faces as they died."
Oh, no. Get in the bin.
I also find the comment very strange, because him saying, "I lost my innocence at the age of 8," if the evidence or the information is true, he was the one that molested his younger sister. So really, he was the one that had ruined his own innocence and then was kicked out of his house and obviously put on the streets. So he is the maker of his own bad fortune.
Yeah. And also, even if that wasn't the case, even if that's misreported and he didn't cause his own demise and his mum just kicked him out, why would you then pass it on to other people? And why do you want to see them suffering?
You know, it's horrible.
To only do it in the daylight, you've just said he wants to see them suffering. Why?
I don't know. I just, like I said, I didn't enjoy researching this case. I picked something quite dark and probably won't go down this kind of rabbit hole for a little while at least, because it was not great to read about.
It's the thing is, I wouldn't say I enjoy researching any of these. Like it makes you feel certain ways, for lack of a better word, just because my brain's not working properly. It makes you feel icky, but I find it fascinating how far a human will go. Like how horrific these people take it. I find fascinating in a morbid way.
Yes, it is very morbid.
I was just going to say, because it's not in my vicinity, like it's not in my wheel of thought. I couldn't even imagine doing anything even close to this nature.
No, I think as well I do maybe have a little bit of a disconnect when it is cases that are this old.
Yeah, same.
When it's something's much more recent, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's happened in the day and age that I am living in, or, you know, there's people out there doing these things. But It's not saying that there wouldn't be a serial killer in the 2020s killing hundreds of people. I would hope that they would get caught way before that happened.
You'd hope they'd be on some kind of CCTV, but who knows?
You would really hope.
I do get a bit nervous about researching serial killers in our day and age, because I don't want to find out that there's one down the road or something.
Just find out that there's some rando living in, I'm not going to say where you live, living in your town that is apparently a serial killer. So
yeah.
You never know.
It'd be like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hear about that.
No, and obviously in certain cases they're only going to be in prison for a certain number of time. So they're not necessarily always in prison. Even if they're still alive to this day, they're not always in prison.
No, yeah, exactly.
So with the evidence unearthed through the flash floods, the bodies that Lopez had directed the police to, and his confessions, Lopez was eventually convicted of murder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. I think you would be.
On July 31st, 1981, 33-year-old Lopez pleaded guilty to the murders of 57 girls. Some information says that he was only charged with the murder of 3 girls, but there were more sources that said it was the murder of the 57 bodies that they had found in their searches. So Lopez pleaded guilty to the murders of 57 girls and was imprisoned in Ambato, where he was officially diagnosed as a sociopath.
Sorry, he pleaded guilty to these?
He did plead guilty.
So he went and showed all the graves to the police, was like, no, not me, I'm innocent, that could never be me. And then in court was like, oh yeah, no, actually, yeah, that was me. I forgot for a minute, that was me.
It may be, I'll read the next sentence. It could be some factor in it, but I don't know for sure because of Ecuador law. So okay. Lopez only received a maximum sentence of 16 years, much to the public's enormous outrage.
Yeah.
So I don't know, does him plead guilty give him a certain sentence? I don't know enough about Ecuador law, but if he had pled not guilty, could they have in theory changed that? I don't know. I probably should have checked, but...
Yeah, but either way, like, I still feel... It's just such a disconnect with what he's doing. Like, oh yeah, no, what was Pasta? Is that the detective's name? The guy
Cordova.
Cordova. Okay, so, oh yeah, Cordova, I killed loads of people. Yeah, loads. Don't worry about it. Oh, you want me to show you the graves? Yeah. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 50. That's fine. Oh, no, sorry. No, I didn't do that. No. I'm innocent. I don't know what you're talking about. I am completely innocent. Oh, you're arresting me. Okay, yeah, I did do it. What? What is going through his head?
What was I even saying?
I don't know. I don't know what I've said in this whole episode.
Just the cold is taking over and just infecting your brain. It's only Barocca now.
It's only Barocca. That's how I live.
It's obviously good that Lopez pleaded guilty, but for the fact that he only served 16 years, or sentenced to 16 years, which, going back to our earlier point, because I said keep that energy for the whole dismay at the number of years that he served, he was sentenced to 7 years for stealing a car.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot about that. 7 years for stealing a car, and then a 2 years for murdering 3 people, and then for murdering 57 girls, he's only getting 16 years. How are these numbers adding up? What is going on, Ecuador?
There could be like I said, there were sources that differed. Some said that he was only charged with 3 girls. If he was only charged with the 3 girls, I could almost understand 16 years in the time frame of his previous convictions. If, however, it was the 57 girls, it should surely have been more than 16 years. But at the same time, it's their law that their maximum sentence is 16 years. Yeah, so you would think...
Like there should be some caveats. It's like, oh, maximum of 16 years... if you've murdered 1 person. If you're in the 10s or above 30 people, maybe it should be a little bit longer. Considering he's also only 33, he will be 49 when he gets out.
So I'm pretty sure that there was a comment, I haven't got it in the notes, but I'm pretty sure when he is eventually in prison, he's also in prison with another serial killer of Ecuador. So in the sense of, I could have...
I'm so sorry. I made you feel so awkward about it. I'm so sorry.
I could have almost understood if they had never had a serial killer in their history and therefore they didn't have a way to give an equivalent sentence for that many murders. But if there is another serial killer in the same prison that he's in, you would think they would learn from their mistakes or learn from past experiences and be like, oh, we should probably... I mean, to be fair, there is a point, I will say. Ecuador did later change its maximum prison sentence to 25 years. But the 25 years, it's still not enough.
It's not enough. This is the 80s now. I know that this isn't America, but America was prevalent with serial killers at this point, and so was the UK, and so was like all of the big name serial killers were from the 70s and 80s. If you look at the news around the world, you'd maybe see that there was a serial killer around, and that maybe sometimes they do quite a few. Maybe up your charges. It's not like it's the 1800s and they didn't know anything about the rest of the world and this is their only serial killer ever, and it just happened to be that he had killed this many people. Come on now. Ecuador, sort your shit out.
Would have said it could have been like, oh, this will never happen to us. We don't need to think about what we need to sentence people to because surely we will never have a serial killer. You did. You did.
And they're in the same prison. They're just there. Next to each other, comparing notes.
There could be more. It was only because it popped up and said that he happened to be sharing this prison with other serial killer. I don't know how many serial killers there are in Ecuador, but yeah.
Also, as a note to the listeners, I was just going to say, I clicked in one of these as like, I got so, I can't remember what I was saying, like, come on Ecuador or something. I was clicking, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to edit that out. I just got so enraged. It had to be in my body too.
I don't know if it's this episode because I do almost forget stuff that we've said within the episode we're recording and previous episodes that we've recorded because it all just kind of merges into one.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a point where you clap.
Sorry.
You're like, come on, clap that. I try really, really hard to keep my hands still because I'm a very gestating, that's not the word, gesturing. Because gestating is pregnancy. I'm a gesturing person. I'm a gesturing person and I would probably either hit the mic, I've tapped the desk before, I'm literally like clawing at my own arm so I don't move.
Yeah, the thing is, we're both that, and evidently, and sometimes you want to punctuate things with claps or clicks, and I forget that you can't see me, and that you can't see that that's what I'm doing. But it's almost like the energy of the episode is in my body and it needs to come out. So I'm aware I did it. Even just as I finished saying it, I was like, oh no, but we'd moved on, so sorry.
No, you're absolutely fine. We also can see each other, so we are on camera talking to each other rather than just talking to a black screen. So I can see you, and I can see that also you're getting more and more upright. The Barocca's nearly finished.
The Barocca is almost done, I am.
But from the very low energy at the beginning of the episode to we're an hour and 26 minutes in right now, and you are vibing, you are here for it.
I'm basically shaking.
We only have about half a page left of notes.
Great, I might have to run a marathon or something after this.
Lopez served his prison sentence at the Garcia Moreno prison. He was said to be a model prisoner. Oh, great.
Oh.
And on August 31st, 1994, he was released from prison 2 years early.
Okay.
You can do this.
So he only served 14 years.
Yep. Of his already disgustingly low prison sentence, he served 2 years less for supposedly good behaviour.
How good a behaviour could he be? Sorry, that was... okay, I'm not okay.
You are once again speechless.
It literally never happens except for in these episodes. How much good behaviour and what constitutes as good behaviour, or as inverted commas good behaviour, when you've murdered this many people and you've confessed to murdering this many people? Like, what's like, oh yeah, actually, he's probably fine. He can probably go out and not murder more people.
Well, he doesn't do that, so...
Oh, what? I am shooketh.
In an interview shortly before his release, Lopez described himself as the man of the century.
Oh, fuck off.
After his release, Lopez was deported to Colombia because they were like, nope, don't want you anymore.
Well, fair.
He attempted to stop his deportation, claiming that he had gained Ecuadorian citizenship in 1974, but he could not produce any evidence of this. I can't even imagine, even if he did have the citizenship, Ecuador would be like, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, even if you did gain it, you kind of like shat on it. Like, by murdering all those people, you've kind of like knocked yourself out of the running. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but you know.
Just so, it's lost for words, so wild. On entering Colombia, he was detained as an illegal immigrant before being handed over to Colombian authorities.
Where was he born again?
I think it was in Colombia. They were like, nope, don't want you either.
Ecuador was like, don't want this one. Colombia's like, nope, neither do we.
Still reluctant to set him free, the authorities moved Lopez to El Espinal, where he had resided decades earlier with his mother, in hopes that one of his older victims would come forward. So they actually dropped him in the place where he first was. Because, like I said, none of the murders that he committed in Colombia, it was all his confession.
Yeah.
At this point, no bodies have been found. Nobody has come forward and said, oh, I think Lopez killed this person. Or
yeah, but
whatever.
They might not have known. Because of the way... Oh... What I was going to say is they might not have known because of who he was attacking. But now you're going to tell me I'm wrong.
A local woman named Alba Sanchez claimed that in 1979 she had seen Lopez walk away with her daughter, Floralba, from her home before Floralba's body was found raped and strangled outside town. This MO, I know, it's horrible. As well as when he was just saying the 100 victims, there's no names to it. There's no association with a person. This is a local woman in the town where he was living. Him saying, oh, I just found indigenous girls that were not being
There's
easily
a disconnect
watched.
there.
Yeah. So this MO was identical to Lopez's known murders in Ecuador, and they charged him with this 20-year-old crime. Lopez was found guilty after a short trial, but his defense attorney demanded that he should be subjected to a psychiatric evaluation first. Don't get me wrong, already been diagnosed as a sociopath. He is probably insane, but I feel like the defense attorney is just trying to help him in this situation, and I just don't... He doesn't deserve it.
They have to. That's the whole reason that they're there. But in this case, like, just let him rot in prison. Maybe the option is he's either in an asylum for the criminally insane or he's in prison. Whichever's worse for him, to be honest, because he's a piece of shit.
Just wait for the next bit and then you'll realise that it gets... It doesn't get any better.
It's not gonna get any better.
He was ruled insane in 1995, and as a result, he was committed to a mental hospital instead of being sent to prison.
Mental hospital, that's the word I should have used. Yeah. Sorry.
In 1998, a new evaluation deemed him sane. It deemed him sane, but he wasn't sent to prison. He was released on a $50 bail.
Fuck off. I was about to say that Colombia had done something right by, like, detaining him for the 20-year-old crime, and now we're just releasing him willy-nilly. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck is going on?
Just letting him get away with whatever he wants. He was released on a $50 bail.
Oh, fuck off. I did hear you say that last time, and I forgot about it in those 3 seconds.
Sorry. Under the condition that he should continue receiving psychiatric treatment and reporting himself to the police every month.
He's gonna do that. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna do that.
I think this bit is wild, not as wild as everything we've already heard, but the audacity of him going to these lengths, considering what we already know about him. The last reported sighting of Lopez was in September 1999 when he visited the National Civil Registry to renew his citizenship card. It was just like, oh, I just need to get this sorted. I've only killed all these people.
To Colombia? Or to Ecuador? To Colombia.
Colombia.
I mean, the balls on this man.
He's got some balls. Like, yeah.
Like,
he obviously, I mean, he's trying to be under the radar considering that he's not, in theory,
he's trying to be under the radar by not turning up to the police and by re-registering as a citizen. Like, that's a big arrow saying, I'm here. I'm right here in Colombia.
I don't know what the justice system is in Colombia as well, because obviously if you in theory, he's in violation of parole, right? So he's been released on bail.
Yeah.
His requirements of being released on bail was to receive psychiatric treatment and report to the police, neither of which he has done. Don't get me wrong, what's the dates between these? So this is so it's in 1998, so it's literally a year later. So you would think that if you go to renew your citizenship card, there should be some like big red warning being like, this person needs to go back to prison because he has violated his parole.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Big red warning. This person bad. Put him back in prison.
Yeah. You'd have thought. I mean, the only way I can think of is if he's doing it under a different name, but...
It didn't specify that. But I would feel like if they're saying that... It does say reported sighting. If the reported sighting is true, you would have to know that it was him.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, but I don't know.
Wild.
In 2002, the Colombian police and Interpol issued warrants for Lopez's arrest for a new murder in
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They issued warrants for his arrest 3 years after this sighting of him. Okay. Yep, sorry. Carry on.
For a new murder in El Espinal, which is the place where he was sent back to and where his mother lived. So it's pretty obvious that it's more than likely him because it fits his MO of his earlier crimes. Like, you've put him in this place. He's renewing his citizenship in this place, and you're like, yeah, we're pretty sure that's him. We've issued a warrant for his arrest. But in a garbage twist of whatever universe this is in, the Interpol warrant was deactivated in 2005. And Lopez remains a fugitive.
Also, is he not still in the same village or town? Then, if he's murdering in this place, it's a new murder, which they released him, so they've essentially said, yeah, okay, carry on murdering, because I'm not being funny, if you've murdered over 300 or 400 people, you're not going to suddenly stop murdering. You're not like, oh, actually, I learnt my lesson now, considering I've been in prison before, but this time it stopped.
As well as he has only been in prison for a short period of time, so it doesn't feel like you can learn your lesson from that. He was released saying that he was the man of the century. Like, you wouldn't say those things if you're like, yeah, I've really learnt my lesson, I'll never kill anybody.
Exactly. So why were we releasing him, and why are we now surprised? And why is Interpol thing deactivated?
Oh, the warrant.
Warrant, yeah. Why is the Interpol warrant deactivated?
It doesn't give a reason, it just says they deactivated it.
Well, I need a reason.
It has also been said that Lopez is a possible suspect in a homicide committed in Tunja, Colombia in 2012. So that is now 12 years after, or 13 years after his original release from the mental asylum. So he possibly killed somebody in 2002, and then once again is possibly a named suspect in another homicide in 2012.
And he's evidently going to have killed some more people in between those times, because if he was doing 3 a week, even if he's slowed down, it's not slowing down to 1 every 13 years.
No.
Right.
And he was born in 1948, so he's getting into his 60s. 56, 60s, 70s now. I mean 70s now in 2025, I think. Yeah.
And have we heard anything? Oh, sorry, I might be skipping ahead. Have we heard anything since?
No, at this moment in time, Lopez is believed to still be alive and possibly still killing to this day.
Well, yeah. I imagine that he is. I can't imagine that he's stopped.
So that is the story of Pedro Lopez. I didn't want to say earlier from the name of the episode of that YouTube video that I watched because he is referred to as the monster of the Andes. So that's his like tag.
Yeah.
Or whatever you call it. So yeah, Pedro Lopez, the monster of the Andes.
Well, that was wild. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry I'm yelling. The Barocca.
I mean, it's also probably one of my most in-depth cases in terms of the level of depravity and stuff that's gone on.
Well, there's
it's
a
also
lot
my
to
longest.
Cover.
There was a lot to cover. It's my longest. We're on an hour and 40 now, which is the longest episode we've ever recorded for me. So go me.
Go you. What was the last one that you did?
I think it worked out to be once edited, it was an hour and 3. And I think I only cut about 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what was the case?
No, not what was the case. How long did we record for?
I think it was about an hour and 30.
Okay, yeah, so this is, yeah. Well done.
Go me!
Go you! And I don't think there's that much to cut out either.
No, and for notes that I made within an hour and a half, an hour before we were recording this.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
You did very well. I'm very impressed, and I'm shocked that I didn't know about this case, because apparently I'm surprised there's anyone in Ecuador or Colombia left that he hasn't killed.
Honestly.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
it's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
And in the space of 20, 25 years? He wasn't murdering when he was a teenager, and he was in prison until... He went to prison when he was 21. He was in prison till he was in his 30s. No, I've got to do the maths now. So he went to prison in 1969, and then he was in prison for 9 years, so 1978, and then he was eventually arrested in
about 20 years.
1981. So this is all in the space of 12 years, 12 to 13 years. 1978 to 1981 was when he was eventually arrested.
Jesus.
So 12 years, he killed like 400 people, or 300 to 400 people.
That's ridiculous.
It goes back to that point of, what was it, one of the episodes where I said, I thought we had a busy schedule, and he's just killing on a random afternoon, like, I need to hit my quota for the day.
Exactly. I was literally just thinking, well, he didn't have a job. How can he fit in a job? Like, he's not fitting in a 9 to 5, and then I'll just pop in out. I've got to hit my quota of 3 a week.
He did say he's a drifter, so I don't know how he made money or how he kept himself afloat, but I guess that was his career. He's a career career criminal?
Yeah, it's still
but normally
wild.
career criminals are normally like stealing diamonds and robbing banks, not murdering for
something
funsies.
That gets the money. But maybe he was stealing from the people as well. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm just putting theories out there now. I'm still too wowed by it's too many people.
It wasn't included in my notes about the MO, but his go-to age range was between 8 and 12, so I doubt that they would have probably had much in terms of finances for him to take advantage of.
Oh, that's makes everything so much worse.
So I think it might be time for me to give you your teasers. So I need to probably clarify, because I keep messing up and saying episode next week. And
I think we both do, to be fair. It's hard not to.
So we actually release an episode every 2 weeks. If we were recording an episode releasing an episode every week, I think we would have a breakdown, because there would be no time. We would only be recording and editing. It would take up every moment of our day.
Every single moment. If we could get an editor in the future, that might be a future plan. But at the moment, it's just not feasible with the way we have to work this.
We also both have full-time jobs.
We do have full-time jobs. Like, both of us have 9 to 5s. Both of us have a bunch of hobbies, because why wouldn't you have 15,000 hobbies and a podcast and a full-time job?
Well, really, what we should do is tell our wonderful listeners that they should go and tell everybody and all their friends to listen to us, because the more people that will listen to us, the more that we could maybe make this into a more of a fully fledged thing rather than just us doing it for fun. And then we can get an editor and give you our wonderful voices in your ears every week, obviously.
Yes. So go on, tell your friends, tell your family, tell literally people you meet on the street. I do, basically. I pretty much get it into almost every conversation I think I've ever had since we started. If I haven't mentioned it in a 10-minute period, there's something wrong with me.
The only thing that you can think of. Your brain is fully occupied at all times by podcasts.
Mostly. Here's my Roman Empire at the moment.
It's either going to be that or book talk. We could keep you over in the podcast world for as long as possible, otherwise book talk's going to take over and you're going to leave me for your own book talk podcast.
I mean, I have recorded some book talk videos.
Oh.
I want to start a book talk.
Well, I support you in your ventures, but I'm not joining you on that train. This is enough for me.
What, you don't want to record book talk videos with me? How rude. I'll just slip them in as, I'll be like, this is a podcast video, and then it'll be a book talk one. And I'll just post it on a different channel.
We would just reuse it like we accidentally did for the Apex Eastbourne Extreme weekend, where I thought, because I have access to all of the social medias for my roller derby team and Crime Time with a bestie, and I accidentally uploaded one of our videos to the Crime Time account that was made for Apex, and I was like, I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah, it's fine. It was funny. It was both of us.
It was us, and it was in good jest, so nothing that was weird, but it was just reuse, reduce, recycle.
Exactly. Did you want to say your other points? Your other corrections? Little corrections.
They're not corrections. Listeners, please don't think I'm crazy, but there was just a few things that I, having gone whilst the episodes are being released and listening to them, also editing them, there was like stuff I wanted to remember to say, and I wanted to add them into the episode, more for my own sanity. You might not care.
Yeah,
doesn't care.
I don't think you will have noticed them. And if you had, you wouldn't have noticed them more than like a half a second thought. Because I didn't notice them, but Jess has noticed them.
It's bothering me. I need to get it out of my brain. So I've noticed that we say a lot of the same things again and again, like the way that we phrase things or how we repeat things, which has also included me mentioning that I've listened to Lacey Peterson cases many, many times.
Jess only listens to Lacey Peterson podcasts.
Don't get me wrong, it is covered by multiple podcasts across the true crime sphere, so it's not uncommon for people to have listened to a case multiple times, but I use the example of me listening to Lacey Peterson more than once. I do listen to other podcast episodes, I promise.
No, just Lacey Peterson, nothing else.
I'm just trying to find a bank of episodes of like very popular or well-known crimes of episodes that I have listened to in different accounts and podcast people. So, you know, John Benet Ramsey and The Staircase and all of those. I've listened to all of those ones. They're great. And I enjoy the different threads of information that they take you down, where they tell you different perspective based on the podcast that's covering it. So yeah. And then my last one was only because I'm paranoid, and not that it matters. Everyone has their right to do what they choose, and I just wanted to say that my beautiful cat babies, I keep calling them babies, and they're actually not babies. They are 11 years old. I think adoption is really great. I think that people that choose to get kittens, that's their prerogative and their choice, but I really support adoption, and I just want to say that my cat babies are 11 years old, and they are my fluffy babies and my fluffy children. They've been making me run around circles this week of cleaning up so much poo, and the hairball on my sofa this morning was not appreciated, but I still love them anyways.
Maybe I won't get a cat.
You keep, every time I send you cute photos of them laying on me, you're like, oh, I want to get a cat, and then I have to remind you that actually having cats is wonderful, but they are fluffy children and they are demanding. So those are I was bothered by these things. I wanted the listeners to know about my own anxieties about things that I've said, which this is why when I listen to my own voice notes, this is why I listen to my own voice notes rather, because I have to go back and check that I haven't said something stupid. And once the podcast is out into the world, there's no going back.
But they're not stupid things. I think you're fine. I don't think the listeners would have noticed. I didn't notice, especially the cat one. I was like, yeah, everyone calls their animals their fluffy babies or their fur babies or whatever. So I really don't think anyone...
kittens are great.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have noticed or thought, oh my god, she's got a kitten, we must, bad. I don't know.
And you can also adopt kittens, to be fair. There are lots of shelters that have kittens for adoption. I just don't have the patience to have a kitten. It was hard enough trying to figure out how and where they like to go to the toilet, and they're 11 years old, so they are already toilet trained.
Yeah.
Whereas trying to tell a kitten, like teach a kitten where to go to the toilet, what things not to scratch, it's not in my patience level to deal with that. But I've rambled on enough. Unless you have anything you would like to ramble on about, I'm perfectly happy to facilitate that as part of the podcast.
I don't think so. I think my Barocca's wearing off again. Now that I'm not enraged by the stupid man.
The monster of the Andes. Yeah. You've forgotten his name already.
I have forgotten his name already.
The Barocca is fully gone.
I forgot what we've been talking about. What have we... Is there a case? I don't know.
You do the revision for the exam, you get the exam over with, and every bit of information falls out of your brain.
It's just been trickling out my ears.
Exactly. That's how I can listen to podcasts of the same topic again and again and again.
Exactly.
Like John Benet Ramsey.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, look at me go.
You'll have to mention the staircase in the next one.
Okay. How would you like to give us your teasers?
Yes. I am still debating whether I am going to do this one, because I promised you guys something lighter, and I'm having trouble with that. Like, I think I'm on a list with Google, because I was trying to think of every different way I could approach this. And what do you Google for a light-hearted serial killer? And I Googled that. I Googled funny serial killers, and I don't mean funny serial killers, but I wanted light-hearted. And Google had a word with me.
The AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate the AI overview anyways, but it was like, no.
It was like, serial killers are not funny. I was like, I know serial killers are not funny. That's not what I was trying to ask. But how do you phrase it? So yeah, Google had a word with me. I'm probably on a list. This one, there is murder involved, but it's not really a murder. I'm still not 100% on whether I'm doing it, but for the sake of teasers, it is Mennonites, Oklahoma, and weed.
I I don't even care at this point what the episode or what the context is. Mennonites, Oklahoma, and weed sounds like you're about to break out in song or like some weird Book of Mormon level, parody musical. I'm here for it.
Okay. Maybe I should
Please
just
do
make it a musical next episode, not next week.
Yep, we are not next week. We are next episode, 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time.
I can't sing. Don't make me sing. There's a reason I'm going to sign language choir and not just choir.
Yeah, I can't sing either. I mean, nobody wants this in their ears beyond me yelling.
And even then, it's questionable with the amount of yelling and the squealing. It's all good. I'm hoping everybody still loves us.
Yeah, I mean, if you know us, you know we're going to yell.
Thank you so much for joining us, listeners.
Our social media is Crime Time with My Bestie on TikTok and Crime Time with My Bestie on Instagram. So follow us in all of the places. On the episode that I've just been editing, we said we'd be on Facebook. We're not. We're working on it. It's a thing.
It's fine. We don't need Facebook.
One day we'll have Facebook. It's just not today.
And you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast, because we are on all of the things.
All of the things, wherever podcast lives.
Except Facebook.
Well, yeah, podcasts don't live on a Facebook. It's fine. But on any platform that podcasts live, the Barocca's kicked in again. Let's go. Bye, bestie.
Have a great time.
Bye.
Thanks. No, wait. Have a great time.
Have a great time where? Are you drinking a Barocca?
No, it's squash. Bye, besties.
Bye, besties. Bye.
Bye.